Okay, I think I'd like to move on to the count my vote process. We saw in the polls that count my vote was well on its way to succeeding. I mean, the polls in last December showed that 65% favored count my vote, a direct primary, and a large number didn't know. They really were uninformed. So the question that I would have to all of you is, why did count my vote compromise? And why don't they just keep proceeding, going ahead? For the other people, Representative McKay, I would love to be a fly on the wall to see, as someone that's very conservative, Republican in the House, how you jumped on board. If I were a fly on the wall, what would we have heard and seen? Let's go to you after we go to Mr. McKay.
Let me give you 3 or 4 things that led to the settlement. First of all, you pointed out, Senator Jones, that 65 to 70% repealing polls favored count my vote. That is a direct primary. There are other numbers that are relevant to that as well. We encountered that we actually had signed signatures from about 115,000 people, with between 110 and 120. We needed 102,000 signatures stretched out over the state, 10% in 26 of the 29 Senate districts. It's a very onerous task, and we were close to getting that. But we were also spending about $150,000 a week to get those signatures done by paid professionals. It's exceedingly expensive. The fact that you go to any election puts an initiative at jeopardy, and we've seen initiatives that have gone up or down depending on this. And at the end of the day, by virtue of the solution that was arrived at by Count My Vote and by Senator Bramble and Representative McKay, as we talked this through, it gave us every of the solutions that we wanted. In addition, it added the unaffiliated voters in the Republican Party. It made no sense not to stop. We were really about $500,000 or $600,000 away from getting the geographic spread that we needed, but the risk was enough there that we just concluded it was time to get a solution we thought all Utahns would agree with. And I have to tell you that at the beginning of Count My Vote, that we spent 3 months of negotiation trying to decide whether to go exclusively for direct primary or to go for this hybrid kind of approach that became the law of SB 54. Concluded that we could not explain it adequately, but there were people with sentiment who thought that this solution was exactly what we aspired to in the beginning.